Bar and Grill. Look forward to it as we'll sit back and watch a little Major League Baseball. Good times, good times.
I love this day. This is one of the great days, great events that we have. We've got some that are more formal and buttoned up, and there's a presentation of sorts with a show. And then there are some where we kick back and relax, and this is in the latter category, and it's always a good time. And I can't believe it. I asked Bill on Saturday, I said, hey, man, inflation being what it is, you want to make it a $3 hot dog? You want to make it a $4 hot dog, $4 beer? It's still a great deal. And he said, no, let's keep it $2.
Keep the tradition
My
alive.
Man, my man.
$2. That's what we're doing here. I love it. It's perfect. Yeah, look, listen, it's creature comfort for me. It's a sport I love, and it's a start of a very long process where, I value the hell out of Major League Baseball's regular season. In a lot of ways, more than the postseason, just the pacing of it all. And I think the challenge of 162 games is something to behold. It is a slow process, but one with an attention to detail that is rewarding. So as somebody who has the baseball package, this is the sport I immerse myself in more than most. It's in football. It's a race. It's very short. It's compact. It's violent. It's hostile, and it's awesome. And it's the coolest thing, and it's of itself, and it's different, and all those things are true. Baseball's leisurely, man, and it signifies being outside in very long days and just that kind of thing. It's a different vibe altogether.
I'm telling you, I have such a greater appreciation for why I think the culture up in the North loves the sport. It's because they're so pissed off.
Yes, of course they would be.
I'm feeling the pissed off thing that they feel. Like, gee darn it. Gosh darn it. We could stand with some warm weather here, and it does signify better times ahead, the beach, the breeze. I have a greater appreciation for it because here we're so spoiled. On opening day, that's when we have our best weather of the year. Like, not named November. This time of year in Tallahassee is magical. It's beautiful today.
Well, and also in the last couple of years, now this is very show-centric and what we do in local and all those things beyond, sort of just maybe big picture stuff. But it's always right around when we're about to have the golf tournament, and I love working. First of all, we get great people who come out and they put together teams, and it's for charity. It just makes you feel better. You're working with the Second Harvest of the Big Bend. They're awesome people, and they do great work, and I'm very fortunate. Listen, I lend my name to this thing over the years. Most people other than me put it together and do all the work, and I try to say thank you as much as I can to you, Tom, and to everybody else that's involved because, again, I'm in a good position where we've built up little cachet over the years, and so we're able to do good for people. That's what I mean by that. That's not an egotistical thing, and it's also a situation where I don't have to do much other than show up and have a good time, but it's a perfect time of year, and it's a series of events. It's FSU baseball, it's the spring game, it's the fact that we're out at practice. Now, today we will not be out at practice because, unfortunately, the scrimmage is closed. We don't get to see it. We don't get to none of that. We'll all do our best to reach out to sources and get a sense of what happened in this scrimmage. My interest is greatly piqued about this particular scrimmage and really any of the forthcoming scrimmages because the competition is so intense. But if you put all this together, it's a mashup of awesome times. Today is the Sweet 16. We get the start of the Sweet 16, and I think I got bets on 6 of the 8 games. And I'm not just saying that as a degenerate gambler. I'm saying it's fun. It's a sports action, and I love the Sweet 16. So we'll watch and have a good time with it. I got the start of baseball. We got intense games down the stretch in the NHL and NBA. You have all of that. We've got the fourth, as I mentioned and alluded to, the spring game in the not too distant future. Florida State baseball bounced back nicely on Tuesday, beat the brakes off of Florida and humiliated that program. And now you have a chance to kind of rectify an ACC woe from the weekend before. Just a lot that we all love. And, oh, by the way, the Masters is 2 weeks away.
That is correct. These are all good things.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm not a huge fan, and I understand what's going on this weekend, why you do Thursday to Saturday series. I'm not a huge fan of those series until Thursday, of that week. I go, oh, well, bonus, Fortune Smiles.
Yeah.
6 o'clock first pitch tonight for Florida State. That's great. Well, I think we've got 2 of those series this year. I think, is Miami maybe Thursday to Saturday as well in a couple of weeks? At any rate, you're right. There's a lot of things on the tube. I'm glad we're going to be at Corner Pocket for that reason, because they have enough TVs to handle everything that's going on and then some.
Yeah, by the way, there are, one of the things I like about baseball fans and sports fans, really, sports fans all the way around, is we're very good at finding workarounds. We're very good at finding illegal pathways to watching anything we want to watch in regards to baseball or the NBA or the NFL.
The director's got a PhD in that.
Well, yeah, because he's young. The young people that came up after us have been very good at being basically criminals when it comes to watching movies, pirating music, finding ways to see anything that's behind a paywall that they want to see or blacked out. I mean, they're hardcore criminals, and I admire them for it. It's the best thing their generation's done.
Well, you should, because I think the P on the hat you're wearing stands for Proud Papa. You had the unlocked cable box.
I did.
You had a hookup at a record store.
I did.
You had LimeWire.
Well, the world had LimeWire.
I know, but
Tom.
You know how to use it. I'm saying this is not something that's
I relied on the kids.
The kids are criminals out of nowhere, and where do they get it from? I mean, my man, yeah.
You had to make
You had the ways. You knew the ways.
Well, and the best one I ever had was the DirecTV illegal card to watch every.
Oh, so satellite. Forgive
satellite,
me. Yeah, the unlocked satellite box.
Yeah. I don't know if that's still a thing anymore. I'm long since removed. I know the latest thing that was the most similar to something like that was the illegal. Director Matthew knows. He helped me out with this one time. What is that? The Fire Stick, that you break the Fire Stick there and you can see all the movies and everything else.
That's right.
I don't know that the Fire Stick is working as well as it used to, but that was a thing there for a while.
I got too queasy, and you guys, I remember at the old studios.
Oh yeah.
I remember you trading info, and I kept asking him. I think probably 60,
you kept waiting for people to get busted, but we didn't get busted.
60 times, I think I asked him. I said, "You sure? You sure this thing's gonna work?" He's like, "Just buy it, and I'll fix it." I don't know. I'm not so sure. And it worked. Apparently, it worked. Maybe I could get a cable box up there and just use, I don't know, put a nickel in the right slot, and somehow it unlocks everything that I need to get.
Well, why did I bring any of this up in the opening segment? Well, because Major League Baseball and the NFL does this in a weird. Other leagues do this too. The blackout rules are insane. I live in Tallahassee, Florida. The Pirates play today in Miami, and it's blacked out with the MLB app.
Yeah, you got to go find you a Bally Sports Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
Go to hell. Go to hell with that nonsense. I'm effing 7 hours away from that game, from that stadium. What are we doing?
Yeah, Braves games aren't blacked out.
It's the dumbest thing. What? Stop it.
And that's 4.
They got to figure out their blackout rules. Now, I'm going to see the game, and we'll be at Corner Pocket, and we'll be able to watch it. And
but you won't get your announcers,
Yeah, and I'll live with it. We play 4 against the Marlins. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We get 4.
At least it ain't Rich.
And I met, buddy. Henley.
Hey, opening day in Miami.
Yeah, thank God it's not. But
Hermes in the house.
I'm just thankful that over the years, I could call somebody much younger than me and say, what sort of illegal means do you have to watch all of these games at once? Because don't you hold out on me, young man. I know damn well you're cheating the system, you thief, and I admire you for it. You got to let me know.
The Marlins announcers have gotten a little bit better over the years.
They're much better.
And they brought Tommy back in. He was never the problem. It's just together, those two did not.
I like Tommy,
music.
actually.
Yeah.
I actually met him and had a good conversation with him.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah,
but
and he would get mad. He
Rich
made me
would
laugh.
get him riled up, and he'd get him off topic. And Tommy is great. He's sarcastic. But one of my favorite things about living up where I am is I don't have to deal with the Marlins broadcast. It's on my television. Could you imagine getting Rooch Sports instead of the Marlins for the 7 because we're in the division? It used to be 19 times I'd have to watch.
Yeah. You'd have to deal with it. You'd have to deal with it. Yeah.
F that.
Toby's out here throwing shots in the chat, the Heisen Lincoln Law Firm chat early. Which, by the way, Matt Lasser, fantastic cohort here at Warchant, is bitching about he can't even watch the Red Sox when they play Tampa.
Sure, you can. Bally Sports app.
Yeah, but
$15 a month.
There it is. Toby taking shots at the great franchise.
Tell Gene to give you a raise.
5-time World Series champion Pittsburgh Pirates, best stadium in baseball. And they do go to games. They have the worst owner in major sports. And if Bob Nutting were to be killed today, it would be okay. Now, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. It's that the greatest fan base in baseball is unfortunately having to deal with, yet again, for a long period of time, the worst owner in baseball.
Do you think if you guys were consistently good, your fan base would be as annoying as the Steelers fan base? Do you think it's a 1-to-1 ratio? Every bar there'd be Pirates fans?
No, I don't think so. Pirates fans are great fans, and if you go to a game there, you'll like Pirates fans. They're very knowledgeable. They go way back, all that. But it is interesting.
Lord knows on a Sunday you go to a bar.
Right. I do separate it. I think, the nature of the sport's very, very different. Because there's probably, I'll just say this. Steelers fans are unique.
Okay, yeah. I see where you're going. Baseball fans are more sophisticated by nature. I see you.
They're smarter. There's no doubt about that. You could say more sophisticated. I'll say smarter. I think it's 100% true. And it's interesting to listen to watch Steelers fans. I have a love-hate thing with Steelers. I'm a Tampa Bay Bucks fan and have been my whole life, so that's different. But I think what's interesting about, I can admire fan bases that I don't maybe like their team. There are teams for example, there are franchises in every sport that maybe I don't like, but whose fans I respect. Because you kind of, as you get older, you recognize there's bad fans in every fan base, and the potential for you to have a bad experience in any particular game is always there. It's omnipresent if you're the road fan. Some, it happens more persistent than others, and so you kind of begin to differentiate, for example, the difference between a Miami Hurricanes fan and, say, a Florida fan. You don't have to like either, but you could point to the fact that Florida fans, most of them went there. Miami fans, none of them went there.
And they'll tell you.
None of them went there. Right. So it's like, and you might meet one. If you meet a Miami fan who actually graduated from Miami, he's probably a doctor or a vet or a dentist. He's smart. He's interesting. He's somebody, or she is. They're personable people, but they're so few and far between. I mean, they're less, nobody goes to those games, speaking of not going to games. And certainly the people that do were not the ones that went there. Those fans haven't been to the campus ever. They'd be thrown off or jailed if they step foot on that campus. So it's a weird thing about fandom. But
so you think Hurricanes fans are Steelers fans?
No, you have this weird hatred for Steelers fans. I just think they fill up bars and it makes you mad because you got to get there earlier.
It does.
To get to your corner.
You got it. You nailed it.
That's the problem. You get to the bar, you're like, really? There's 700 Steelers fans here. We're in Tallahassee.
Steelers!
You're like, why?
Oh my God.
I
got here at 12:15. We got 45 minutes. You just shouting for no reason. The game's not on. Terry Bradshaw's on the screen. Pipe down.
There's
Please.
A lot, so for example, I think because of the success of the Steelers, right? This is true of uber successful franchises in general.
Yep.
It just depends on the era, right? People my age, I mean, the 70s, it's the Steelers and the Cowboys and the Steelers. That's it. And so you see that reflected with people over the age of 40, basically at these bars, that they're Steelers or Cowboys fans. Now you have Raiders and Packers and, oddly, in this town, Vikings fans everywhere. Nobody can explain it to me.
Fantastic people, the best. I have to say that, but it's true.
You do.
Even if I didn't have to.
Think the Noles will pitch well?
Fascinating. I don't know.
I don't know either. I cannot get I've had a sense for almost every series this year, and I thought going to Clemson would be problematic. I thought they'd certainly get tested. I thought, in particular, their pitching would get tested. I could not have foreseen the collapse of the two games that we talked about. But it's fascinating to me. It's the way they responded in Gainesville against a good offensive club is stunning. So, and you've correctly pointed out all along, it's not like they lack stuff. So it's this.
Yeah, 100%.
When you're young, and I'm pointing to my head for those listening on the radio, when you're young and you've not been put into the fire and you've not been put under immense pressure of a situation on the road in particular, You just don't know how you're going to respond in those situations, especially while some a-hole in baseball ops over and over after every pitch.
4-4 this week.
So, that's another thing to have to overcome, a stupid ass earworm that should be banned. But that was responded to. Maybe they're buoyed in a way that we would be shocked by. Look out if that's the case. Look out, because the offense plays for days.
Yeah, so Cam's situation from last week actually mirrors that of the bullpen. Control. Massive control issues. Had a lot of good breaking stuff, but they're spitting on it because you're getting behind. Like, I think he broke off 3 or 4 excellent sliders / breaking balls in the midst of throwing 100 pitches in the first 3, 2 1/3, 2 2/3 before he gets bounced. But they're not afraid because you're not getting those calls and you're not establishing the fastball. And you got 97. So I don't know if it was the scout. This is where you can't be definitive. I don't know if the scout said, don't throw this team fastballs. Clemson's a fastball.
Because they can club.
Right, exactly. So we need to establish breaking balls, pitch backwards. Maybe that was the case. And maybe that's not Cam being afraid to throw 97. But I think at this point, you got to establish 97, 98 because he's doing it with consistency in terms of the velocity, the velo, and then get your breaking stuff going. Like I want to see what the sequencing looks like tonight, but his problem mirrored that of the bullpen.
So I wanted to answer a question. We got to go to break in a second. We're going to bring in Ira Chaffel for a special Thursday little conversation that we did just before the show started. There's a reason for it. It involves Florida State's objection to some of the questionable antics of the ACC in response to the court case. And we'll hear from him in a moment. But I'm wondering when you talk about establishing fastball and you're talking about the pitching staff and baseball, it's weird to me. There's a thought. I'm trying to word this carefully, if you can't tell, that one of the guys might have been a front runner who needed to learn something. Couple balls on the edges were called.
Yeah. I think actually just watching the season, I don't know if this is something that's happened gradually over the last few years. It hasn't been easy to watch college baseball last few years. I feel like generally speaking, the strike zone is tighter, more professional.
It's gotten that way.
Like if there are missed calls, it are balls that could be called strikes rather than the other way around.
Used to be the opposite, where it was a foot off the plate and you guys get hung up. Yeah,
right,
it's
exactly.
It's a little tighter than it used to be.
I feel like sometimes it's a teacup now, and this is still college baseball.
Yeah, and guys can get frustrated.
But that's not a complaint. Like, you've got to overcome that. I mean, enough. Jamie Arnold has his first 2 starts, I thought he got squeezed, and he found a way to get through it, power through, and that's something that you've got to figure out how to do. Sometimes the ump's not with you. But, yeah, there were a couple of those on Saturday. Went, well, heavy right arm. Got you.
And Major League Baseball didn't allow for the Pirates to be sold to Mark Cuban, David, and it was because at the time the reputation of Mark Cuban was whatever. I mean, it's baseball being stupid. Woo! Z-Chan, my man.
Holy Jesus.
You could have kept it going. He writes, go Braves and go Noles. Certainly go Noles, Z-Chan. Certainly go Noles. Ira joined us this morning right before we came in because he's got a piece up on warchant.com that you should go and read, and I wanted to talk to him about it because some of the language that the ACC and Florida State how about this? FSU is accusing the ACC of deception. The language used in the most recent complaint by Florida State is interesting on a couple of levels. It's an amended complaint, and they are pointing to that deceitfulness from the ACC. They're also using past tense language describing their presence in the ACC, such as after FSU leaves the ACC. And this is not something they've done before. They've alluded to maybe. They're just saying it now. Ira Chaffel joins us next. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Attention Florida, are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Lika Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Lika Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLegalLawFirm.com. Hyson Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
New one. So why wait? Visit Pinch A Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Oh my God, what happened to you? You're walking so crooked.
Well, I was walking my alligator and I tripped on a cypress knee and I spilled my margarita.
Oh my gosh, your margarita.
Yeah, I'm blowing my back completely out. I had to ride the alligator home. I don't know what to do. My back's killing me.
You're such a Florida man. You should know you should go to Finn Chiropractic.
Really?
You can go to their website and book an appointment and get you in as soon as possible. Go to FinnChiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
You mean 24 hours a day I can make my appointment online and pay for it?
Yep, right on their website.
Wow, and it's discounted?
Yeah.
All right, that's what Florida man needs to do.
No lines, no waiting. Visit FenChiro.com to book your next appointment with a discount. FENNCHIRO.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. It's Fen Chiropractic, where the chiropractors love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Finn Chiropractic.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome in, Warchant TV, warchant.com. He's Warchant's managing editor. Ira Schafel, I'm Jeff Cameron, wildly popular talk show host. Ira, deception, outright lies, and peace, say the ACC, or at least their attorneys, in response in Leon County Circuit Court accusing the conference of all of those misrepresentations. You wrote about it for warchant.com. Let's discuss, amongst the interesting things here, not only claims of lies and misrepresentations, but also language that suggests Florida State is as good as gone, if you didn't know it already.
Yeah, and to clarify, I don't think the ACC's attorneys use the word lies. That's our word. They went with misrepresentations. So maybe in the next documents they'll use the word lie. But yeah, this was from a procedural standpoint. This isn't like a huge filing in the course of a lawsuit. Basically, Florida State filed their lawsuit. In their amended lawsuit, the ACC asked for a stay of discovery in this case. They basically want the judge to put a pause on the case in Leon County because they've got their own case that they filed up in North Carolina. They want that to move on before the case in Leon County moves on. So that's all normal. And Florida State filed their response explaining to the judge why they shouldn't do that, why this case should move forward here in Leon County. And, but, so that's the procedural part of it. But there were some interesting things inside of it. Like you said, some of the language Florida State used about, exiting the ACC almost as it's a formality. And then also some of the hostilities, this has been kind of the temperature has been rising at each filing, from Florida State's first lawsuit to their amended complaint to now here. They just kind of keep raising the level of intensity with their arguments. And does that mean much in terms of the legality of the arguments, or does it mean much in terms of getting out of the conference as quickly as they want to? I don't know, maybe not, but it shows how basically how broken this relationship is and how determined Florida State is to get out.
Yeah, as you pointed out in the article, the attorneys use a version of the phrase after FSU exits the ACC. I think we all like to read that as Florida State fans. If I could talk on behalf of Florida State fans for a second, that's fun because no more beating around the bush, Ira. I mean, we all know where this is headed, and Florida State has made their intentions very, very clear. And while they did not outright accuse the ACC's attorneys of lying, they did say that they, quote, were fudging the truth and they've been loose with the facts.
Those might have been my paraphrasing of what they wrote, but we're all saying the same thing. Yeah, they're basically saying that there's been some bait and switch. They used a word. I don't know if Tom can find it in the document and behind the scenes and pull up the word. It's a word I had never heard of from before, but it basically means sleight of hand or deceit. So I learned a new SAT word reading this document last night. But yeah, it's and they use different phrases to describe deception. But I think the change in tone, again, the rhetoric, you talk about exiting the ACC. If you go back and read the initial lawsuit from Florida State, they never even said we want to leave the ACC. They were very careful to basically just say, if that ever happened, basically hypothetically speaking, we just want to know what the remedy would be, like what it would cost to get out of this conference if we ever wanted to leave. Not saying we want to leave, but if we ever wanted to leave. And I actually had people high up at Florida State tell me after that lawsuit was filed that, look, we've never said we're leaving. And we've made that clear to the ACC. We're not saying we're leaving. We just want to know what the options are. Then, Clemson filed their lawsuit and they were much more direct and basically said, you're stopping us from leaving the conference with this league, with your rules. We don't like that. We want to move on. So they kind of raised it a little bit. And now Florida State, as I said, 3 different places in the lawsuit says, basically talks about what's going to happen when Florida State exits the ACC. I mean, and again, it's one word and it's one kind of sentence. And in the normal world, like with the way a lot of us use words, and maybe we don't choose our words carefully, that's one thing. The fact that their attorneys, when filing a legal document, use that phrase 3 times, I think sends a pretty strong message.
Legerdemain?
Yes.
Legerdemain.
Good luck for you, buddy. Yeah, legerdemain. I didn't get the pronunciation, but it's a
noun, skillful use of one's hands when performing conjuring tricks.
In the exactly. They've got Jim Phillips do magic tricks. Yeah. But
hey, buddy, don't you do that legirdamaining around here. There it is.
And so where they used that was in reference to the affidavit filed by Virginia's president, President Ryan, who I believe that's his name, who basically Jim Ryan, who said that the ACC had no option but to sue Florida State. This kind of goes back to why the ACC sued Florida State before Florida State had even sued to leave the conference. And, they said that Florida State breached their contract. Well, Florida State's point is, how could you file a document saying we breached our contract when we hadn't even filed our complaint yet? So we hadn't breached anything. And then on top of that, they used a phrase throughout the Virginia president's affidavit, and then also in their amended complaint, they used a phrase about basically, I can't remember it's a 3-word phrase, but maybe Tom can help us out with that. But they used the same phrase from the ESPN agreement, basically saying this part of the ESPN contract compelled us as the ACC to do everything we can to protect that contract. We couldn't let this go on because our duty to ESPN is to do everything we can to fight to preserve this contract. So then the judge in North Carolina last week, and I don't know if this was written about or not, but these documents are in the filing from last night. The judge in North Carolina asked ACC and FSU, where are you guys getting this phrase? What exactly does it mean in terms of this contract? So the ACC again was like, well, we're not going to give you the whole contract, but we'll give you that language. And they sent them that language, and it's included in my article. It doesn't say anything like that. And so Florida State again is saying they misrepresented to the court that they had to do this. They had to file this lawsuit, but nothing in that contract actually says that. Commercially reasonable efforts. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. It is present throughout your article there that is referenced, commercially reasonable efforts. But this is, again, part of the sleight of hand that they're sort of alleging here or using or positing towards the ACC. They're saying, look, you didn't have to do that. Actually, if you look at this and if we had the whole picture, if we read everything and not snippets of what you presented, then we would see that it wasn't a requirement that you sue Florida State, is what they're saying.
Yeah, and that's the case they are really pushing. And Florida State started doing this pretty early on. If you go back to remember before they even filed the lawsuit, I believe it was before the lawsuit. Florida's Attorney General asked for the ESPN contracts to be made public or to be sent to her office. She wanted to look over them. Then Florida State talked about it some. Clemson really hammered that point home that the ESPN contract needs to be released to both parties so they can see it. From our understanding, Florida State and all these other schools sent attorneys to North Carolina last year to look at all the documents. And I thought they had seen the whole entire ESPN documents, and maybe they did, but maybe their point is they want to be able to actually have it in their hands, not just have to go to the ACC offices to look at it. Or it sounds like maybe they didn't get to see the whole document when they were up there visiting. I'm not sure. It's hard to know what the ACC is saying is confidential and these schools can't see. But I think that goes back to the root argument. Neither one of us are attorneys, but you're telling us we're beholden to this contract, a contract that we can't even see. So how can we be parties of it? It's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah, as layman, it seems patently absurd that I would be bound by something I'm not allowed to even read. I'm not even allowed to look at. This doesn't make any sense, right? So, again, we don't know. Maybe there's legal recourse for all of this. Maybe there's not. I don't know. But obviously, there seems to be mounting frustration amongst members of the ACC. It's not any longer just Florida State. Now it's Clemson and Florida State. And it seems to be North Carolina as well. And this list is only going to grow, methinks, given what the language is in stories like the one you've written here. We're starting to see this ratcheted up, is your point. And I think now all the gloves are off, obviously.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. So the next big date in this case is April 9th. That's when the Leon County course is supposed to move forward. The judge in North Carolina,
the judge said he would have an answer for
Exactly. So the judge in North Carolina said he would have his response to Florida State's request to dismiss that case up there or stay it up there by April 9th so that the judge in Leon County can act with knowledge of how they feel up there. So, we still have about a little over a week before that comes. So we'll see how quickly those rulings come and where they favor, which way they favor. But, it just feels like, again, because the big question I think on FSU fans' minds is, when can Florida State get out and what's it going to cost? And probably more so just when can they get the hell out? But the cost is a big part. Well, again, I think this is every time Florida State files a document like this, it just seems like the door is closing almost completely. Again, I had people at FSU saying as of, in recent weeks or months, anyway, the last month or two, that, the door's open. Like if the ACC wants to come back and say, look, Florida State and Clemson, you guys get 30% of the TV revenue and everybody else splits the rest, then maybe they would stay. That door was a possibility. The way they're writing now, it just seems like it's a foregone conclusion, which I don't think anybody around Tallahassee is complaining about.
Our own Ira Schafel doing the best reporting on this story, gaining insight by the day. Make sure you check into Warchant TV. And, of course, the article is on warchant.com. More as it presents itself, Ira. Another discussion you and I will have in a separate video or maybe on the Jeff Cameron Show or somewhere along the way, is how it is that everybody seems to have a pretty clear understanding that in the not too distant future, Florida State will not be a member of this conference. And yet, if you read national writers, they would have you believe there's zero chance Florida State's getting out of this, and they're not desired by any conference in America. So the disconnect continues nationally. Luckily, locally, we have you, and people like you do a great job. So we appreciate it, buddy. Talk to you again real soon. Until next time, everybody, make sure you subscribe to Warchant TV and warchant.com to get the latest on FSU's fight to get out of the ACC.
Now,
Tallahassee Community College has officially been renamed Tallahassee State College. That's according to a Wednesday statement from the college. Governor Ron DeSantis announced on social media Wednesday he signed Senate Bill 522 into law, renaming the college. The college initially considered the name change last year. At a November Board of Trustees meeting, the board voted to approve the renaming. The new name will take effect July 1st. 2 people have been arrested for vandalizing the Florida Capitol earlier this month. 23-year-old Kylie Vance Justice of Dothan and 20-year-old Greta Lane Paul of Tallahassee were both charged in connection to the incident that took place on March 2nd. Justice and Paul wrote "Save Gaza" in red paint on the bollards facing Appalachia Parkway and Monroe Street. Both were at the Capitol with a group of demonstrators that day. Justice turned herself in Friday evening at the Jackson County Jail. Leon County Sheriff's Office arrested Paul Monday. The state attorney's office will prosecute the cases. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Daytime highs approaching 73 this afternoon. Under sunny skies, north winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, lows dip down to about 47. Sunny skies tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 75. Mainly clear skies Saturday with daytime highs approaching 78. 81 Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 70 degrees.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of, that nobody would know, and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Have a better day than the offense. And that is typically the case. Nobody should be alarmed. It's your annual reminder that defense is always ahead of offense, especially early in camp, this being the first scrimmage, and no more, kind of setting up the offense for success. Rather, we're live and I can put my hands on you now. And so things change.
The defense should be a little perturbed after Tuesday. A lot of success for the offense. It doesn't mean that they were, outright overwhelmingly dominant, but more than I can remember in most spring practices, more success for the offense.
I think, Tom, one of the things that's going to happen and be very consistent in this camp is that there won't be a practice where if they're going live scrimmaging or anything close to it, 11-on-11s, whatever it might be, for even just your normal practices, there won't be a stretch of time with all of the weapons that Florida State has in which a big play or two isn't made. They just got too many guys that are going to win some one-on-ones. They've got too much speed where somebody's going to take a bad angle or somebody's going to slip or whatever it's going to be, and a big play is what is going to result. And that's why we got so excited about the influx of speed, because that's what speed does. It puts a lot of pressure on you as a defense to do everything right. One wrong move and somebody's out the gate, as Jimbo would say. And they have a lot of guys that can out the gate this thing more than they did a year ago. A lot more than they did a year ago is what I'm going to tell you. So that wouldn't surprise me after every one of these reports, is that, hey, I thought the defense got the better of the day. And I'm just talking like pretending I'm Coach Norvell after a scrimmage, felt like the defense got the better of the day, saw some good things on offense. And then you get a report that somebody had a 98-yard touchdown. Like, it's just going to be, oh, well, somebody missed a tackle on Jalen Lucas and he was gone.
Right. Well, that's going to happen if you miss a tackle on Jalen Lucas.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing, and I believe it happens with a couple of the wide receivers as well. This has been, so far, a really good camp for Destin Hill. And that blazing speed we were promised 10 years ago when he committed to Florida State, and that we once described as either a unicorn-like figure in the lore of Florida State recruiting, became real. And then all of a sudden we began to realize, oh, man, he came ready-made. And then, unfortunately, very early on in the season, he got hurt. But it's back. That speed is back.
Who didn't get hurt?
Correct. But fortunately, he's back. And you see what he's capable of. And again, I think the kid is it Jalen Brown? Jalen Brown from LSU. He's got wheels. He's hit on some big plays. Obviously, Benson. They got guys. They've got some home run hitters here.
Do you think that Jalen Brown can be a consistent contributor this year? Like, I feel like that's a crowded depth chart, and they've got some fast dudes. So, maybe. You watch more skill than me, so
I just think it's a little early. I want to see, I want to find out how many reps he's getting when we start going live like this. By the time we get to the fall, who knows? When you bring in, we kind of change the way we view what's possible as the floor of talent's raised. And so when you bring in a freshman or a redshirt freshman or a guy that's, really early in his career, in the past, you'd kind of think, well, I don't, maybe they'll work him in some, but you've got guys that were recruited to Alabama, that were recruited to Georgia, that were recruited to LSU. Those kinds of guys can maybe hit the ground running and play.
Well, it was interesting too, is it might be a player that we're not talking a whole lot about right now, but if we're projecting, and I think reasonably so, that 2 or 3 veteran receivers are probably going to look at options elsewhere, or 2 or 3 receivers in general. It's such a crowded room. It's almost like that third level in the depth chart in a way is a little bit more important for the 2024 football season, because those guys are just going to by default move up the charts.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have an opportunity in fall camp because you've got guys that are up against it currently on the roster that are saying, I got to go play. I got to go play somewhere. So for a Loane McCoy or a Dre Jacobs or a Jalen Brown, if you have a good camp, but there are some dudes that have been here a while ahead of you, hang on a minute. You're about to get some more reps in the fall.
Really tough task for coaches all over the country, but especially those with, oddly enough, deep and talented rosters, is trying to teach young men that are 18 and 19 years old the value of patience. Good luck with that. It's nearly impossible for me on a daily basis with my 16-year-old in the house when we're talking about who gets food first, let alone something that you'd be starved for, like playing time for these guys. So I think, that's the hard part. When they have the option, I could just leave, and they've got people whispering in their ear about the possibilities elsewhere, much of which is overblown. in terms of NIL money that they're told they could get, starting time, playing time, reps, whatever it might be considered. A lot of times you find out after the fact that it's not, that it's all cracked up to be. We've seen this already with some people that have left here. We've already found out that there's this great lament from some people. Now, others would never want to admit it, but that's the reality. It's why I feel bad in some cases for some of the kids that get terrible advice or who are maybe naive, of course, just by age, and whose parents aren't savvy enough to know the difference, that they're being promised a pot of gold that doesn't exist, and they have something good here in their hand right now that is established that they should maybe think about before they turn their back.
Yeah, here's something for the suggestion box for the Battle's End. Maybe you bring in a kid who's got a story that sounds a whole like that as a guest speaker. Maybe you could pay him a couple of bucks, let him stay, in town for a few days.
Yeah.
Can't be a part of the program, but you could come by and tell the kids, hey, hang on a minute.
It's not what you think out there.
You think. And then you can make up some of the difference of what they've lost.
Well, I mean, this is the next step. We're learning so much, and this is going to be a really big moment in this early shift in college football and what's happened with all of the changes, the good, the bad, the ugly. A lot of people, we touched on it this week. It's been projected this way nationally, but I think even more locally with people we talk to, you do get a sense that there will be some upheaval. You're going to see a lot of change. You're going to see a lot of kids who take advantage of the opportunity of unlimited transfers. And you might see some real names that sting a little bit. We don't know, but it seems likely that you will at a lot of schools, not just here, that take it on down the road for opportunity. But how that plays out in the next 2 years will be critical to how NIL and transfer rules and the future of college football is shaped and what rules are put in place. Once we get to a Big Two, once we get to the primary two is what we should call them, the rules will change because they'll make their own. That's going to happen. They're going to break away, and they're going to say, okay, now that we've done this and now that we're out, and the NCAA never had any power to begin with, but we do, so here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's all going to shift.
I think so. Players would be penalized for movement between the two conferences. Now, if you want to go play at a lesser conference, yeah, you could abide by the NCAA.
Take it on down the road. Have a good day.
But if you want to be with this alliance, the real one, Jim, the one that's going to stick between these two conferences, you got to sit for a year because their coaches are going to beg for it, and they would be right to.
But also the players are going to be compensated.
Yeah.
So this isn't like the old days. Like you can demand certain things of players once the field has changed, where I say to you, well, no, here's the deal. You're going to get this, and this, and you never had it in the past. Oh, by the way, it comes with stipulations. You're not going to willy-nilly just do whatever the hell you want. Those were the days of the NCAA being told by the courts, go to hell. That's not us.
Well, maybe they should institute something like the coaches have with a buyout. If you want to leave, you can buy us out, but we have your rights at present. So for the low price of
whatever that number was,
triple what your 1 year agreement would be, you can have your rights back. Now, is there a university out there, young man, that is so desperate for your services?
Well, and there will be.
Yeah, for like 3 kids.
Yes, correct.
And then they get the negotiation to get the raise that they want with the school that they're currently at. But maybe that's the way to do it, is set up a buyout system.
It's funny. It's human nature. It's already happening. I see it on our message boards on warchant.com. I get asked about it when I'm out and about. I see it in my email inbox on Twitter. We tend to fear what we're going to lose as opposed to what we've gained. We do not harp on the things that we really have been enriched by and enjoy. We think about all that's going out the door, right? Or what could potentially happen. And so I see it already. People kind of gearing up, mentally preparing themselves for a name that, not unlike what happened to you at the running back position, Tom, your favorite player,
Rodney Hill,
got hoodwinked.
Yeah.
Thought he knew more than he did, and his parents and others perhaps with some bad advice.
Allegedly. Perhaps that's a guy that I think should maybe be in the lecture circuit at Florida State.
Maybe he is.
Cautionary tale.
Right. So what you do is you get your defenses up and say, man, I really have always kind of liked what I'm hearing about so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, but they're not exactly written up in the daily practice reports in the way that I thought they'd be. Perhaps are they contenders to take it on down the road before they realize their potential? That's the hardest part. Look, it's a reminder that a lot of guys that come in from high school, I don't care if they're 5 stars or not, they don't hit the ground running when they get to college. College is hard. It's different. You're alone for the first time, away from your family unit. You're figuring out the social aspect. It's much harder work. The dudes you're playing against are bigger, stronger, faster. Sometimes it takes 2.5 years, and that's not a big deal. It was never a big deal in the past. It's okay that you don't really begin to realize your potential in college football sometimes until you're a junior, a redshirt junior in many cases. But nobody wants to wait on that anymore. This isn't a me, hey, get off my lawn, old man moment. It's just the reality is some people take a little while, but with the unlimited transfer rule, the kids don't necessarily want to sit around and wait it out.
Yeah, they don't want to see it through. And it's also, it's the Sam Bradford effect. You know, this is before rookie salaries had a cap on.
Right.
If you, the number 1 overall pick at 21 years old, is going to make more money than any quarterback in football, you better be good today. And the way that the structure is right now, from what I hear in the NIL circuit, high schoolers are expensive.
In certain positions, that's true.
The higher the dollar amount, the more I expect of you immediately. But it's so backwards. Like, imagine if Bradford was a backup for 3 seasons and he was the highest paid. Like, that's
Right.
kind of in high school to college, you should be waiting a little bit to have the body mature.
Well, and I it's interesting. This could carry over to the conversation about what's best in the NFL too. I mean, this latest situation with Jordan Love that you're watching is another case for letting a guy sit behind a veteran and build into something. It's really a case-by-case basis. But those are 2 very different discussions because of the salary cap and the things that we're talking about in the NFL. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Have you been injured on Interstate 10? I'm Jimmy Fasig of Fasig Brooks Law Offices. We've partnered with RoadProof to access all interstate traffic cameras along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Let us help you get the proof you need to stand up for yourself and get fair compensation for your injuries. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Fasig Brooks, 850-777-7777, offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
The most common form of treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as the last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patients active with no downtime, and get them back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280.
Indulge in the authentic Korean way of grilling right at your table at the all-new Chow One Korean Steakhouse in Tallahassee. All-you-can-eat succulent beef, chicken, pork, and an amazing selection of fresh vegetables and homemade sauces crafted with all-natural ingredients in a luxurious upscale dining environment. Chow One Korean Steakhouse. Experience the ultimate fusion of flavor and fun in Tallahassee. Enjoy happy hour from 4 to 7 daily. Located at 1107 Appalachia Parkway, just east of the Capitol Building.
Keeping power reliable and affordable here in Florida is our most important commitment. At Duke Energy, we're working across our communities, strengthening our systems, rerouting power to help avoid outages, and adding proven innovations that will help make the grid stronger and more secure today and ready for tomorrow. Because Florida deserves more reliable and affordable power, and we're determined to deliver it. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
It's time for your 93.3 Sports Flash, powered by Tallulah CBD Mushrooms, THC. Visit TallahasseeCBD.com.
Orlando Magic basketball, they lose to Golden State yesterday, 101-93. Cole Anthony led Orlando with 26 points, 8 rebounds. Paulo Banchero had 15 points and 8 rebounds with that. He becomes just the 8th player in the last 60 years to have 3,000 points, 900 rebounds, and 600 assists in his first 2 NBA seasons, joining a pretty good group. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Sidney Wicks, Larry Bird, Larry Johnson, Luka Doncic, Grant Hill, and LeBron James. Magic will host the Clippers tomorrow. The Heat are in action tomorrow as well when they host Portland. Baseball today, the Rays open up their season against Toronto. The Marlins begin their year against the Pirates. This Sports Flash is powered by Tallulah CBD Mushroom THC. Online at TallahasseeCBD.com. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
And now Martha Stewart for Skechers. When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brain Water, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
Searching for the best place to spend time outdoors this spring and summer? The Golf Club at Summerbrook has all the amenities you and your family need. Purchase a family pool membership this season and enjoy the most luxurious and relaxing resort-style pool in the entire city. With a 6,000 square foot deck, covered pavilion, and poolside drink and food service, you'll feel like you're on vacation. Reserve your pool membership today. Visit the Golf Club at Summerbrook.com or call 850-894-GOLF. That's 894-GOLF.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's a good thing. Looking forward to it. And all right, get here by the minute. It's almost time. Time.
I'm happy for you, bud. I'll be like you tomorrow.
Well, I hate that you were rained out. This is all part of Major League Baseball stupidity at the beginning of every year, where they have games in areas of the country that they know are either going to be too cold or washed out given the season. Just play. You're playing the Braves, right?
No, we're playing the Brewers.
Okay, well, you were kind of screwed. You're playing the Braves. That's where the Phillies were.
Yeah, the Phillies.
I'm pointing at director.
We're playing the Brewers. You know what kind of stadium they have?
They have an indoor stadium, so you could have easily played there, and then the Phillies could have played the Braves in Atlanta. Yeah. What are we doing? What are we doing? I see it all the time. I remember one year, it wasn't that long ago, the Rays were taking on the Tigers, I think it was, and they had it scheduled for Detroit. I'm like, guys, a couple things. The Rays play indoors, and it's a god-awful stadium, but it is indoors. And even if they didn't, they're in St. Pete. Let's take a chance that it's going to be all right in St. Pete, not Detroit, to start the year. Come on, get it together with the schedule. I know it's more complicated than that. It's always a little annoying. One of the things I did today, because baseball does this better than most, there are so many examples, especially in the last 5 years, and maybe it's just the proliferation of video and the access to it now in ways that we didn't have many years ago. But you have all these awesome moments on opening day where a kid went into spring, or a vet, or a guy that's been around for a long time, maybe not a vet. I saw one where there was a player, Nick Martini, 33 years old, had more than 4,500 minor league plate appearances to his name. And on Friday, he was told that he made the Reds opening day roster. So you're 33. You've been in the minors your whole life, 4,500 ABs, and you get called into the office. And this is it. This is the day. And managers always talk about how devastating it is to have to look somebody in the eye and say, we're sending you to AA, we're sending you to AAA, or you're being released, flat out being released. That happens a lot on this day too. But then to call that guy in and to be like, hey, listen, Nick, I need to talk to you. And Nick has, how many times has Nick been told, take it on down to the minors, take your sorry ass back there, Nick. But maybe without saying that. But then anyhow, that moment, I would not have been able to keep it together as the manager. I doubt Nick could either, but knowing that I was going to tell him he made the opening day roster, I might have cried like a baby. That's how I have talked to so many former Florida State players that got drafted, some of whom made it to the majors, many of whom did not make it all the way up to the show, playing in the league, right? Guys that had opportunities to play in the minor leagues and to pursue their dream. But almost all of them at various points, especially if it was a prolonged stretch where they gave it a go and it didn't work out, would cite how difficult minor league baseball is. The day-to-day operation, the day-to-day living arrangement, the lack of, it's well documented how poorly they were paid. It's well documented the conditions in minor league baseball. They've made movies about it. That eventually guys give up because you get into your 30s and it's never happened and you haven't even been called up for a cup of coffee, and you see there's a 24-year-old in front of you that's an everyday starter, so you're not even close, especially since you're 7-8 years older than him now. And just because you love the game, you got to make a living, and at some point somebody just says, time to go be a coach, time to go be a teacher, time to go whatever it is I wanted to do if I wasn't playing baseball. And so they give up. And when I read these stories about a guy that's 33 or a guy that's 32, you made it. It doesn't matter. He could be sent down in a week. You're on the opening day roster. You're wearing that outfit, that jersey, that major league uniform as you jog onto the field, and they announce the line. Holy moly, man.
Yeah, especially opening day, because they do announce the lineups as though it's the All-Star game.
Right, they all come out.
Everybody one by one gets to go and gets to have their moment.
Man. Yeah. And then what else? There's a whole cottage industry of this online. Fathers at games that their sons are playing in for the first time. And what's bizarre, I don't know if players are possessed with super intense focus and ability. It is not an unusual story for a guy to hit a home run in his first ever at bat or his first ever game. Yeah. It happens all the time.
It does.
All the time. It's, you think like we act like we're shocked when it happens, but there's 100 of those videos on YouTube that you could goal in 2 minutes.
In general, like a couple of my number one performances in the sports I played as a kid were when somebody was there that shouldn't be there or is rarely there. Like in a hockey playoff game in roller when I was 10, 11 years old. Rooster Rink, Countryside High. Both of my grandparents came to the playoff game. They might have made it to one practice, but they both came, my dad's parents, to the playoff game. And I scored 2 goals. I never scored multiple goals. I was a defender. But that day I played up. I scored 2. I'll never forget it. Was worthless in many other games. Completely worthless. But that day, it happens for everybody, I feel like, in across sports. I'm sure maybe you had I don't know, one of your grandparents.
I was just always good, no matter anybody was there or not there.
Yeah.
Just, most of the time, just trying to dominate.
I
But
tee it up for humility and overcoming odds, and you go the other route.
But, hey, I do want to say this. Was it the Phillies last year? Was it the kid that came in? It was a pitcher for the Phillies, and the father's crying over there as he gets his first ever strikeout, and then he ends up basically striking out. He struck out the side, and he gets that final out, and the guy is weeping, and the announcers are like, well, we got to go to break. I mean, they're struggling to get through it, but those moments are incredible, and it is weird. We have access in Tallahassee. There's a lot of good baseball, and, really the South in general. But, I've talked to a lot of parents. I've talked to a lot of former players, and obviously I know David Ross a little bit, and we've hung out and talked, and he's talked about the moments that he had as a player or a manager, where a parent is there, or in the case when he was a manager, watching a kid being able to make a team and say to him, you made it. First of all, that's an overwhelming moment, and then to know, like, when the young man is getting his opportunity and he comes over and says, my parents are going to be here today, like that is so cool. I can't imagine you want anything more than you want for that kid to have a good day.
Well, there's a couple of things that baseball, this typically happens. Like last year we had a kid, third baseman. He's making the roster again this year. He home run first at bat. And it was down in Atlanta, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So his parents are, I think, from the South. So they made the trip over. I think he might have like 3 home runs since. Hadn't been the most productive. A lot of times these guys.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He still has that moment. But the awkward thing that happens is when the TV crew talks to the parents during the game. I don't know, man. I think I might respectfully decline.
Dude hit a home run. Your guy hit a home run while they were talking to him.
It was a Marlins guy, I think, hit the home run in Citi Field.
And his dad is going,
right, yeah. Like, if you're going to interview it, make sure the kid's in the field playing defense.
Yeah.
And if you're hitting, I don't know. If I'm the parents of the family, may not want to talk to Craig Minervini while my son is at the plate. I want to watch my son.
Well, I just couldn't as a parent. Like, I would respect and I appreciate them coming over to me if Bryce or Clark is playing Major League Baseball or any professional sport of any kind, hell, college. But I would be sitting there if they came over to talk to me, and I'd be like, yeah, listen, I get it. I'm in media. I understand the need for this. You're going to have to wait till this at-bat's over. There's no chance I'm missing a single solitary second. This will be etched in my brain on my deathbed.
Even when he's in the hole, when he's in the on-deck circle, every little bit of
the
it.
whole thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing to it all. And it's like you see him come out of the dugout, put the weight on the bat. You watch the practice swings. You're thinking to yourself what's going through his head. Your mind is racing. You don't want to be distracted by, oh, what does it mean? What does it mean? What do you think it means to me? The world, everything. This is it. What does it mean to me?
You would go viral as the angry dad of the MLB.
What do you think it means to me? It's just another Monday. I'm starving.
Won't mean anything unless he gets on base.
Yeah, you become that guy.
It means nothing now.
Yeah. That at bat, man. Come on. It's or a pitcher making a debut. You think I'm going to talk to somebody while I'm watching him throw?
That would be impossible, the pitcher debut, because you need the entirety of the other half of the inning to calm down. That's nerve, especially a starter, like first start in the bigs. You have to go through an emotional meat grinder for the better part of 2 hours if it's going to be a good start. And if it's not, then, well, then you're devastated for your kid.
Your parents tell you these things. It's funny. And you guys that are parents out there know where I'm coming from here. They always tell you, like, yeah, you're never nearly as nervous for yourself when you played sports as you are when you become a parent and see your kids play. Like, that's a much different feeling. And that I have found to be 100% true. Like, I never realized it until they started playing sports, and then I'd be watching them, and you just want them to have success and all those other things. But I can remember Bryce's first basketball game, and he gets subbed in. He was, it's his first year, and they put him in, and I can see that the way it's set up, he's about to get a swing pass, and he's going to be open, and I'm anticipating in my head that's a catch and shoot. At least in my mind, that's a catch and shoot. You better be ready to go. And I'm watching that, and I'm thinking, I have the result in my head. I have all these things, and I'm nervous for him. It's not that I'm thinking he has to do these things. It's just that it's about to happen.
He's got to honor your name. He's got to advance the Cameron legacy.
Now, this is an open look. You got to knock that down.
Your father would.
Yeah, no, that's not what I did. And I lay back in the cut at my kids' games. I'm like hard to find. I'm off in the distance watching. I used to watch when he was playing center field. I'd watch in the left field, outfield. I'd be way out in the trees. I'm not dealing with anything. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Like Ira with the binoculars. Yes.
Yeah, so I can't.
Is that Cameron in the bucket hat?
Well, we've all been, like when you go to a game, when you go to a major league game, it's not unusual if you got good seats to be seated by somebody whose kid is playing, whose son is playing in a game. I mean, we've all done that. You look over, you're like, oh, that's the dad. I went to a Florida State Duke basketball game this year, and one of the players for Duke's father was sitting right in front of me, and I was kind of pissed because then I was like, well, now
I can't speak honestly.
Like, I can't be like, miss it, like this is the guy's father right there, and he was a cool dude. And the kid turned out to be a bench player, and he actually didn't get in that game, but a week later he got in and scored 8 points. And I was thinking of that dad. I was like, oh, that dad's happier than hell right now. You can quickly begin to root for people whose teams you can't stand if you just meet their parents.
Well, you should have, if the guy was a bit of a jerk, right? Because sometimes the parents are like Brazil's father. I know that there's unspeakable tragedy that family went through, but you remember the cut up of the Wake game, Wake Clemson, that went to overtime.
Yeah, he was an ass.
And he's like running down the aisle shouting at the parents.
Yelling at everybody, yes.
See, if you find that dad and he's not jacked or whatever, then you can say, hey, son, look, if you make it to Duke, you've done a lot. But, son, you're never going to sit on the bench for your whole career, okay? You're going to go play somewhere. Don't sit on the bench.
As a proof moment here that you don't have to outthink the room, Scotty Scheffler today 5 under, 1 off the lead as we are at the Houston Open here. The Texas Children's Houston Open is what I should say. Good cause there. But, yes, if you sprinkled some pizza money on wagers and all that, I gave you the advice yesterday. You combo the Scheffler thing with the Sweet 16 games, and I had part of that bet last night was actually the Lightning taking out Boston. But
oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great spot for him. Second of a back-to-back for Boston.
And they needed it.
Correct. Both ways. Rested coming back from the West Coast trip. But Boston aired it out the night before in Miami because they're playing for first place with the Panthers. Very good spot. And you could see it, actually, if we want to go through a 10-minute breakdown on the Lightning Bruins. I'm happy to do it.
We're not going to.
In the second period last night, you could see Boston's legs were quite heavy. And we took advantage of it.
I loved it. I kept saying, boy, they look lethargic. Hit them.
That's right.
Let's go.
We did.
We were hitting last night. Flying. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV.
Social Kitchen is now open on Cary Forest Parkway near Ology Northside, Tallahassee's only premier market where you can receive the famed Snake River Farm steaks and premier meats. Social Kitchen also has chef-prepared meals and sides ready to serve in just under 20 minutes. Perfect for those very busy springtime weeks, weekends, you name it. Hosting some people at the house. Hey, Social Kitchen also has build-your-own charcuterie boards and catering. Stop in and visit Social Kitchen today or visit us online at socialkitchentlh.com. socialkitchentlh.com.
Ready for a breath of fresh air this tax season? Well, breathe easy with E&B Heating and Air. Don't miss out on federal tax incentives for new AC systems and heat pumps. Take advantage of up to $2,000 in tax credits, plus additional savings from city and manufacturer rebates. E&B Heating and Air Conditioning has been serving Tallahassee and surrounding areas since 1974. Call us today for your free estimate at 850-575-9119 or visit us online at enbheatandair.com. That's enbheatandair.com.
Have you been injured on I-10? I'm Dana Brooks of FSU Brooks Law Offices. We partnered with Roadproof to access all interstate traffic camera footage along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Memories fade and witnesses disappear. Securing important video footage now can make sure your claim receives the full attention it deserves. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. FSU Brooks, 850-777-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
Social Kitchen is now open on Cary Forest Parkway near Ology Northside, Tallahassee's only premier market where you can receive the famed Snake River Farm steaks and premier meats. Social Kitchen also has chef-prepared meals and sides ready to serve in just under 20 minutes. Perfect for those very busy springtime weeks, weekends, you name it. Hosting some people at the house. Hey, Social Kitchen also has build-your-own charcuterie boards and catering. Stop in and visit Social Kitchen today or visit us online at socialkitchentlh.com. socialkitchentlh.com.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
You got one of those new cars that keeps you in the lane when you're driving or slams on the brakes if you get too close to another car?
No, I don't like that fancy technology stuff.
A lot of people don't. It's called lane departure warning and forward collision alert. And all that fancy stuff is attached to your windshield. So if it gets damaged, you need a qualified company like Seminole Auto Glass to replace and recalibrate your windshield. But don't call your insurance company. Just go to SeminoleAutoglass.com and upload your insurance card. Hey, Jimmy.
What?
Did you know that Teslas come with a unique new car smell? They call it Elon Musk.
Oh.
Better call Seminole.
Man, I just got a text from my wife. She wants me to cook dinner and then snuggle on the couch next to a roaring fire.
So what's the problem, Dave? You already got the new grill, and you're a great cook.
I got one major problem. We don't have a fireplace.
Man, that's an easy fix. Just call Hearth and Patio. They got a lot of fireplaces that can help you for your romantic evenings. Wood, gas, electric, and a ton of different sizes, man. Call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio. Ignite that spark in your life.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
They got a new guy. So I didn't know who this guy was. I actually said aloud, who the hell is this guy? And apparently they're turning to this guy on the regular. Tom, do you know who Matt Miller is?
There's a lot of Matt Millers.
Well, this Matt Miller.
This isn't the draft guy, is it?
It is the draft guy. Who the hell's Matt Miller?
No, he's annoying. That's who he is.
Well, it's a different face. Did they just fire all the other guys? I mean, they made this guy do the 7-round mock. 7 rounds. And he had trades. So I'm kind of partial to Matt Miller. I've never heard of him before. But he is apparently an NFL draft analyst for ESPN now. And I thought, whoa, what kind of project did they put you on this close to the draft? And they made him do a 7-round mock. That is cruel and unusual. You have to embrace the hell out of like absurdity if you're tasked with doing a 7-round mock.
You know who would be very impressed with that? It would be our friends at ISF. Because if you're talking about solving for the future, 7 rounds of an NFL mock, I think that's
you would need proper collaborators in the NFL to help you, just like ISF does with people in state government trying to upgrade and make more efficient their modes of operation and communication.
Well, and a willingness to make the minutia your major priority, because that's what they do. They simplify, they streamline. I think that they are the Matt Miller of organizations like themselves. They will go 7 rounds for you.
7 rounds for that ass at ISF. That's a memo. You get it when you first join forces.
That's a T-shirt. 7
rounds for that ass. Matt Miller should wear a shirt that says 7 rounds for that ass, brought to you by ISF. That is remarkable. But he did end up finding a home for 11 Florida State players, and so I found this interesting, whether he's anywhere close or not. Also, by the way, what is remarkable is it is becoming more and more apparent in this upcoming draft that we are going to go to a possible 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterback draft with the first 4 picks. Caleb Williams, perhaps Jaden Daniels, perhaps then Drake May, and then J.J. McCarthy. If I had told you at any point while watching Michigan this season that J.J. McCarthy would get drafted in the first round, you might have rolled your eyes, let alone as a top 4 pick. If I had said first round, you'd have gone, well, I mean, come on.
People are desperate every year.
Sweet Jesus. That feels really desperate. That, to me.
I don't disagree.
That feels really desperate. Watching him play, I don't see it.
It feels a little Brett Hundley-ish. Different players, just the hype, that hype.
I don't know if he just looks small, because he's not. He's not when you look at the measurables. He's not tiny. But he looks it. And I don't see like cannon for an arm or anything. I don't see anything. I don't see anything.
Well, he never had to is the best argument that he can make.
It is the best argument because they ran the ball incessantly and played good defense.
So are you sure? Not sure. Well, I don't know.
I could be completely wrong. I know enough now to know over the years that we've gotten enough right and enough wrong about quarterbacks, just like GMs in the NFL, that you have to state this with the caveat that, I don't know. I mean, there have been a few guys where we laughed aloud when they tried to project them way up the board. The UCLA one, of course, is a big one that we had fun with. How that ever happened is still comical. I mean, right off the bat, I came to work that one day and said to you, Tom, in what world is Hundley drafted in the first round, let alone way up, and why? I thought, do I not see it? Because we trust each other's eyeballs, and sometimes I'll see something, or maybe I'll watch a game that you didn't see, and vice versa. And we'll come in and go, I don't know, man. The other day I was watching, he actually did make some big time. You're like, okay, I'll have to rewatch. I'll have to reassess.
That was Todd McShay's face of the sport, quote unquote.
It was bizarre.
Brett Hundley, face of the sport in college football. And then they lost 5 games, I think.
But what this means, according to a lot of the folks, including this dude, Matt Miller, is that somebody that possesses the talent of Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be available 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. Because some people have Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr., which I do not, but some people do. Can you imagine what kind of fun and games they're going to be celebrating in Chicago if they go in this draft and find a way to go 1, 2, and draft quarterback Caleb Williams, followed by Marvin Harrison Jr.? They just brought in Keenan Allen, right? And are we going to have an offense in Chicago for the first time in my life?
They did have one briefly. Tressman and Cutler.
Very briefly.
Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
That offense put up numbers.
Man,
there's a reason I can remember those names. Even though that team wasn't good.
But they could get, even if they don't, they'll get a Dunizé, and he's good. And from Washington, you could get him. You could bring Brock Bowers down around 9, 10, or 11.
I'd love that in Chicago.
I'd love that anywhere. He's a freak. It's something to behold. the first Florida State player, this is what I'm bringing it up and solving the future with our friends at ISF, that he has drafted is 19 overall Jared Verse to the Los Angeles Rams, and talked about how much interest they have, and that the Rams said, and they were on record as saying, and I thought this was fascinating, best available player. Well, okay. Like in that spot, they deemed him, if he were still to be there at 19, the best available player on the board.
It's the way you need the draft. You either go best player available or offensive line. These are your two rules.
But they're specifically noting they think he is.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take that. And
that jersey would look good on him. I'm not a big fan of the Rams jersey. They've got a classic look.
They had a good one back in the day. Should go back to it.
Right. They've got a classic look if they want it. They've kind of feigned it for the new age stuff. But sometimes when you envision a Florida State player in a uniform, you think perfect fit. Jared in a Rams uniform would be a good look.
Keon Coleman to the Patriots in round number 2. Oh,
no.
Braden Fisk to the Texans in round number 2. That would work. Well, the Texans are like straight up doing something. By the way, FanDuel has all of the NFL's over-unders listed.
Where's the Texans are?
8.5? What are we?
What?
Jump on it now, gang. Go. Yes, he grabs his phone. I went, what are we doing? That's the first one that jumped off the page. I was like, there's just no way. That's insane. But so that would be 3 in the first 42 picks for Florida State. And again, I mean, this is one man's projection. I'm just trying to find, because we spent a lot of time talking about how many guys will go from this Florida State team that went 13-0. And it'll make you happy for them and frustrated that we got snubbed. Trey Benson going in round 3 to the Cleveland Browns. They need a guy to replace Nick Chubb, or if Chubb's not quite right, that's where he projects they like Trey Benson in that role.
Interesting.
They run the ball in Cleveland now.
They do. Just a uniform fit. I don't know.
Oh, you're going by uniform?
Yeah, I'm trying to picture him in the uniform. I don't know. Doesn't feel right.
Well, Renardo Green to the Steelers.
Perfect.
It's so perfect that I saw it and I went, damn it, are you kidding me? That seems exactly right. I agreed with it. And that is a 3rd round pick. So you'd have, what, is that 5 in the first 3 rounds?
Yeah, 5 by the weekend. Yeah.
All right.
5 before Saturday, I mean.
I'm rooting for those guys for that to be the case. Maybe not those exact locations like you're talking about, but somewhere in there you get that many guys. Florida State then looking at a Jerrion Jones getting drafted in the 5th round. I think that's about right. He may go 4th from what I'm reading. Good for you, Jerrion Jones. The story of how many guys played their way into money, played their way into the draft. I mean, Braden Fisk is a big-time story, obviously, from Western Michigan to Florida State to maybe he gets drafted late to going to be a 2nd-round pick. So it takes one team, and some people think late 1st after all that he did pre-draft. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, this is not something I look forward to listening to. Typically, I have advised for isolationism when it comes to, where Florida State is, ACC, shame on Florida State, all that stuff. But when you see those graphics on Sunday towards the end of the draft, most players drafted from a college institution. Well, look at that. Wow, Florida State. Okay.
I think you're going to be surprised by the next one.
Florida State 12 or more than Alabama. Like, it's gonna happen, man.
That.
It's gonna happen.
When we get to round 6, he's got Jordan Travis getting drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, and he's got Jaheim Bell being drafted by the New Orleans Saints. I could do without that. He's got Fabian Lovett being drafted by the Buffalo Bills. Seems to make sense. That's perfect for Fabian, isn't it?
That's great.
He's got that's a lot of Florida State players. Finally, Johnny Wilson going at the end of the 6th round.
Really? Even after that 40 time? Okay.
I think Johnny's a candidate to go between the 5th and 7th round. Drop issues are terrible, terrible labels for wide receivers trying to play in the National Football League.
I'd love to take a chance on it, though. At that level?
If he's around in the 6th round, I'd throw a fly. Yeah, correct. I'm doing it if he's sitting there that late. Kalen DeLoach, he's got towards the end of the 7th round.
Sorry, I cut you off. Who was Johnny? Where's
6th round. Johnny, sorry, you made me go back here. Let's see where that. No, that's all right.
To say Giants.
Green Bay. Kind of fits in Green Bay. Kind of fits in Green Bay. You'd have Jordan Love thrown to him.
Please don't let that guy be really, really good.
He is, Tom. He just is. Stop being in denial.
Hang on a minute. We've said a lot of things about a lot of guys that they are this, they are like Carr. We've had 3 opinions on Carr. We've had 3 opinions on Wentz. But it could be that Love is Wentz.
I know you're saying that. He's going to be good. He is good. You know he's good.
I'm tired of that franchise.
They luck into it every time. But so he has him at the end of the 6th round. And then finally for Florida State, who did I say?
DeLoach.
Yeah, he's got Kalen DeLoach getting drafted in the 7th round, very, very late. So we'll see. Linebacker, not exactly stout in these parts these days, but I'm wishing him well. And
that's a special teams deal. Again, Geno Hayes, man. You just get drafted.
Got him going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Good look.
Oh, those uniforms look good on anybody. But I mean, yeah, it's a good look.
You get a second contract there.
You concerned about the new special teams rules?
Now that is fascinating.
Yeah, it's kind of a little interesting now.
I think he'd be very good for that role.
I do too. Strong enough, quick enough
to get through a gap. Obviously,
yeah. Well,
closing speed,
5 yards away. You got it. Yeah, kind of a different skill set that we're talking about these days for folks going to be special teams contributors. There's a new emphasis on guys though that can just do that as returners. And you saw right off the bat, Cordell Patterson got picked up. And I mean, one of the things that I think is going to happen now is you watch the college game, you'll see a kid, you'll be like, he's not an everyday starter at running back. I don't know what he is. He's kind of gimmicky. Oh, could be a stud with the new special teams rules.
Jalen
Lucas. Yeah.
NFL kick returner of the year.
Wouldn't mind seeing it. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Thanks to our friends and collaborators at ISF.
Your local news now.
A parent was arrested outside of Godby High School in Tallahassee on Monday. LCSO wrote in a press release that after a student mistakenly walked in front of Thomas Ivester's car near the school drop-off area, the 34-year-old allegedly got into a heated argument with the student. A verbal altercation involving Ivester and the student took place and quickly ended. The student left. The parent followed the high schooler to the student parking lot, sparking a heated argument that allegedly escalated quickly. During this confrontation, Ivester brandished a large knife and made threatening remarks towards the student. That's when a school resource deputy intervened. He found the knife in Ivester's car and arrested him. Ivester was booked into the Leon County Detention Facility and is charged with aggravated assault and having a weapon on campus. LCSO said the 34-year-old is also charged with battery on a law enforcement officer for allegedly kicking the school resource deputy who intervened. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Ready for a breath of fresh air this tax season? Well, breathe easy with E&B Heating and Air. Don't miss out on federal tax incentives for new AC systems and heat pumps. Take advantage of up to $2,000 in tax credits, plus additional savings from city and manufacturer rebates. E&B Heating and Air Conditioning has been serving Tallahassee and surrounding areas since 1974. Call us today for your free estimate at 850-575-9119 or visit us online at ENBHeatandAir.com. That's ENBHeatandAir.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Daytime highs approaching 73 this afternoon. Under sunny skies, north winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, lows dip down to about 47. Sunny skies tomorrow, high temperatures reach up to 75. Mainly clear skies Saturday with daytime highs approaching 78. 81 Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 72 degrees.
Hey, fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungle chungla, as I call it.
The pan con lechon, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The pan con lechon, Jeff.
Okay, the bungle chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Because things change given the rules of YouTube. Reminder, attention Florida, if you're a victim of an auto accident, we introduce our live chat sponsor, Heisen Legal Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Heisen Legal Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. There's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Heisen Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 or visit HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. Heisen Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need. Offices, Tampa. Taking care of business, reminding you that if you got a piece of junk for a hot tub, my friends at Pinch a Penny will come pick it up and give you some fair trade on that piece of junk, remove it for you, and get you a new one in there. Don't forget about our friends at Pinch a Penny on Greer Street.
It's a piece of bliss is what it is, a new hot tub.
You need one up there more than we do down here, buddy, I think to some extent.
I would need a wind protection device. Gale force winds, just dumping hot water on people's property.
Did I see this stat right? Just want to throw this out there because it's crazy. Today was Scotty Scheffler's 32nd round of 65 or lower on the PGA Tour over the last 3 years. That is 7 more than any other player in that same span. 7 more. He's kind of good at golf.
If I gave you Scotty or
this is at the Masters,
a live player, and you got to choose one or the
other.
Oh,
it's Scotty by a mile.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think Rahm will be competitive at the Masters, and I don't think Brooks might. He's about the only guy with intestinal fortitude anymore that's gone over there. Everybody else's game's gone to hell. Dustin Johnson doesn't play anymore. Phil's shooting 87.
Phil finished tied second last year at the Masters.
Yeah, he shot an 85, I think, a week ago. He's garbage. So this is what's happened to anybody over there. They don't have to play. Shorts, music, 3 rounds, no cut. Come on. The longer you do it, I mean, look at somebody like what's his name, Cameron,
Smith.
Cam Smith.
We got a lot of Cams in this town too.
Yeah, come on, Cam. He was so fun to watch. Now he's garbage. Nobody sees him. It's unfortunate.
Come on, Cam.
Come on, Cam. We got to do better.
Why didn't we send Bo Hostler over there?
Please do. Yeah, there's several guys that we send over there that everybody's like, good, that's good. Nobody cared to see that.
See, DeMarco's crying about not making enough money on the Champions Tour.
Oh my goodness gracious, no.
He said it's ridiculous that the purse is only $2 million for the Champions Tour that nobody watches, and that we should play for real money, quote unquote, like Liv. I hope Liv takes it over, is what he says.
He said that?
Yeah.
Well, he and Gooch Golf are now the dumbest people on earth. Yeah, there you go. He and Taylor Gooch. It's great company.
Well, first of all, he's a Gator. Secondly, now when Tigers chip in on 16,
you just take extra.
You can take some more
a little
joy
extra joy.
Absolutely.
In the whole thing.
Because Van Valkenburg tweeted out this week. I said, now I'm going to enjoy Tiger reaching down his throat and ripping his soul from his body every year.
That's a toughie, by the way.
Just trickles over the edge.
Watched old Masters highlights last night. It was from 77. I was like, all right, I'm watching. You got me. I'm officially 100 years old. I'm watching 1977 Masters highlights.
So I wanted to play a game with my wife or the golf league or you, whoever, but you come over, you pick an obscure major year, like the 1983 U.S. Open.
And
I don't know who won.
And then you bet on it?
You bet on it. And just watch on YouTube. And I don't know who won. Like it could be the 83 PGA Championship. Who knows? As long as it's not one of the famous ones, it could be Bob Charles who wins. I don't know. But yeah, you just pick somebody.
So you're going to make me do it before we get to probables, aren't you? The 83 PGA champ. Why do I have the 2000? The 83rd PGA Championship was in 2001.
Right,
is the problem.
1983 PGA Championship. I'm going to guess Tom Weiskopf.
The David Toms, by the way, won the 2001. Good old David Toms.
He had a hole-in-one that tournament, I believe,
and he missed a putt from about a foot. Did you look up 83's?
Hal Sutton.
Not surprising.
It was the right one that day, too.
Be the right one today. All right, probables, first of the year. Enjoy Major League Baseball, kids. It's back. We'll see you at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill shortly. Peace.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas and put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
I'm Greg Tisch here to share one of my favorite TCC stories. In the summer of 1966, Eugene Lamb wanted to stay in shape before leaving to play college basketball in Louisiana. So he jogged to Tallahassee from his home in Midway and helped lay the bricks for the first building on what's now the TCC campus on Appleyard Drive. Today, he is a longtime member of the TCC District Board of Trustees. It's no exaggeration when we say Trustee Lamb helped build TCC into what it is today.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
From the front lines of the fight against socialism, it's America in View.
Man, America is under attack. You and I have been on the front lines of the conservative revolution for the last 25 years, and it's great to be in the studio with you every week, waking the woke and strengthening conservatives with America in View.
It's the highlight of my week, Brett, and I hope it's the highlight of your week, too. Tune in 4 p.m. Fridays,
where we are saving the conservative movement from the woke and making America Florida.
America in View on Real Talk 93.3.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can build into the test.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
License CAC 1816186.
What will the Noles do to follow up an unconquered 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminole sports in Warchant's Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forum. Enjoy special access to multimedia elements like Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, and Seminole Headlines, plus exclusive forums with FSU student athletes and a members-only discounted Garnet and Gold. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source. Head to Warchant.com and sign up today.
It's Cameron.
Wrapping it up on this opening day. Couldn't have a better day for it. We will be at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill shortly. As we leave the studio, head on over there, Appalachian Parkway, for those that don't know. Laid back, not really anything other than we're sitting back watching baseball and enjoying $2 beers, $2 hot dogs, $2 slices of apple pie if you want it, and then the Vegas wall of TVs. And as the games begin to populate, I hate it for Tom's Mets that they're washed out, but we got a game at 3:10-ish, and then you've got games beginning in the 4 o'clock hour, including your beloved Pittsburgh Pirates, everybody, taking on the Marlins. And I look forward to all of the games as we welcome back Major League Baseball. And in a moment, I will do probables. I will say a little something very quickly. Could it be a better day for opening day than to have all of these games, Tom, at the exact same time that we've got the Sweet 16? You've got, in addition to that, the Florida State-Louisville series getting underway if you're in Tallahassee, starts today. And then you have, of course, all of these baseball games to boot. It is it's kind of heaven. It's kind of heaven here, man. This is good. And meaningful games if it's what you like. And I do. I watched last night. The Lightning beat the Bruins 3-1 in a great game. And then also, we're down the stretch in the NBA. And there are playoffs spots being wrangled for and seeding. And watched a great game last night between the Clippers and the Sixers. So, like, there's a kind of a lot everywhere. It's just perfect. It's a big, and we're this close to the Masters. Sweet Jesus.
No, it's one of the great times in the calendar. This and October are the two best times because of the just sheer number of sports. But this one, I think, is a little bit better than October because there's more unique championships. And it's weird how baseball has moved earlier and earlier, man. Like, we've done an opening day at Corner Pocket for a long time. And there was one, it's getting to be nearly 10 years ago now. Opening day was the same day of the national championship game between Villanova and North Carolina. And
it was awesome.
We stayed the whole time. But think about it. Now opening day is the first day of the Sweet 16. Just how strange is that? But it's really, I mean, the weather couldn't be better today, too, for all of this. Yesterday was nasty as hell. But I'm at Hotel Indigo where they've got, obviously, we do this for the pregame shows. But they've got outdoor decks downstairs. Man, I went down there last night in between the intermissions. A lot of Lightning fans down at the bar, oddly. A lot of people in from Tampa watching the Lightning beat the Bruins. Like, you just feel it. There's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of Noles around here ready to watch some baseball tonight, too.
I want to note something, too, here while I can, because I don't want to forget it. But I saw where our good buddy, Ingram Smith, CEO, the battle's in. In fact, let me pull this up because he sent it to me while on vacation because he was this kind of excited. I want to remind everybody of this. They've gone with Collectible Exchange, and you can go to collectibleexchange.com. But this is pretty cool, by the way. If you go to that website, you can buy pieces of Doak Campbell Stadium, and a massive percentage of the proceeds are going to be going to the battle's end. So this is a win-win. You get a chunk of your nostalgia and memories from Doak Campbell Stadium, the portions that have been ripped down, and the battle's end benefits.
I am going to push very heavily. I'm disappointed. Usually Ingram floats around these college town circles, and this is his second home. And I just happen to pick a week when he's not here. But Ingram, I'm sure you're listening. I'm going to bend your ear about getting at least one of those bricks available for a silent auction at our golf tournament, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yes.
Because it's a great way to raise money, do exactly what you want to do, but let's get one of those bricks out there. Let's do it. I want a piece of Doak too. I'll probably get one myself and put it in my background in New York.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in my background. I'm going to change my background in the not too distant future. I know everybody loves this, but I'm going to change some things, and it's just going to be a little bit more succinct.
You going to get a photo of the Richard Simmons on the stage? You got to have.
That be something? Wouldn't that be something if I had Richard in the background doing his thing? I would love it. Before we do probables, I should note to all of you that Power Mill once again back on board sponsoring our probables segment. Now, Tom, we need to remind everybody how this is going to work, because if you're listening to the broadcast of right now, you're about to get cut off. Or if you're watching on YouTube, I should say.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. This is your last minute or so. Now, what we will do, typically, we'll try to remember every day, but you should bookmark this. We're going to put the link to the live stream player on 93.3's website because they have the legal protections for us to play the tunes, man. So we'll put that link in the chat so that you are available to listen to what we're doing for probables. But we ain't going to get zapped, and we ain't going to get held hostage by YouTube. We want to return it to the good old days.
Yes, we'll have our music. It changes as the months go by. Eventually, we get to Frank Sinatra's Summer Wind when the time is right. We have September. We get to that. We do all of the ones and the things, and we have all of the cheesiness, everything we'd like, including ambrosia and everything else. But we have to abide by certain rules. So what happens is we sign off. Then you go over there. If you're listening on the radio, you're good to go. But for those of you that want to see it and hear it, you gotta do what Tom just said. And I do want to, before we do any of this, tell everybody thanks to PowerMillSports.com. Go to PowerMill. They've been helping your children in this community for a very long time. 27 alumni in the major leagues, 45 years of experience, over 2,000 alumni overall. They're helping softball kids, baseball kids. They got the camps. It makes your youth playing baseball and softball a little bit more fun because they have a basic of they have a grasp on the basics of the game and really can get the most out of their abilities. I thought you were going to say something.
No, well, I was going to say in the future here, you're not even going to get this last segment, on the chat. But for today, we're saying this is your warning, man. But when we do probables, it's the previous segment. We're going to say, as you like to say, peace. And then we pick it up on the other side.
Yeah. All right. We're going over to Corner Pocket Bar and Grill now.
Yay.
And I'm looking forward to it. And here we go.